And it's this: kill the fucker before someone else gets hurt. Tyler especially wants a piece of this guy's ass, considering that the hunter shot him twice. He also reveals that he's placed calls to Klaus's hybrid bodyguards, and he has them on standby just in case they're needed. Stefan suggests they err on the side of caution and do a bit of reconnaissance around the grill before going in with guns blazing. He doesn't want a hasty decision on their part to wind up getting people killed, because they don't know what's going on inside the grill right at the moment. They don't know if there's booby traps. They don't know where the humans are in there. And, you know, if they just run in there and attack, people are going to wind up getting hurt. Klaus has already, you know, Klaus tells his hybrid later on, you know, this bugger has a fondness for traps, mate. Watch out. And it's true. Damon really doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks or wants at this point. He just wants to rip the hunter's heart out and eat it for lunch. Or shove it up his ass, whichever occurs first. Stefan manages to convince Damon at this point to give him 1 hour to case the grill so that they can have a solid plan. Damon asks Caroline if she can call on Bonnie for help, but Caroline says it's a no-go since Bonnie's magic is still a no-show. Oh, by the way, minor teensy-weensy subplot, Bonnie at this point is spending her afternoon over with the professor in his office, and he's helping her with her magic. It's worthy of note to mention that during this entire exchange, both Elena and Damon are almost of one mind on what needs to be done. And it seems like as each episode goes on, more and more the idea that she is in every essence like Damon as a vampire is just like, they seem to get closer and closer and closer and closer, almost to the point where their personalities are almost meshing. He actually kind of does this little thing where he's like, so, did you tell him what we did at the... Oh, wait, you didn't, did you? You don't want to tell him because you don't want to make him mad. Yeah, Elena didn't tell him what happened at the college frat house party because she knows that Stefan would react badly. And violence would ensue on Damon's part, so, yeah, she's keeping that one to herself. No, except they do seem to be of one mind in this, except for the heart-ripping part, of course. Stefan is being really cagey, subversive, like, because he's the only one that knows what's really going on, and he's not giving reasons for why he's being so cautious. And Damon and Elena definitely take notice, because he's not acting the way that he would normally act. Damon's even beginning to wonder if Klaus might have started compelling him again, because he's really not acting right. The previous tip to this, Stefan would have been all about kill the fucker, kill the fucker. Now he's all, no, let's be cautious. They don't really have time to worry about it, though. So everyone goes off to their respective places, and Stefan goes and stands across from the grill to use his vampiric hearing to listen in and get a good judgment about where everyone's placed in the building so they know where they're going to come in from. Connor begins to construct what looks to be some sort of liquid explosive rigged to pressure sensors in the floor. Doubtless, these bombs are probably filled with the werewolf venom. It would be the easiest way for it to have an extra kick. The best way I can describe the explosives is they're kind of like frag grenades with shrapnel in it, dunked in a bunch of venom. So not only are they going to get shredded, they're going to get venom immediately in their bloodstream. Yeah, it's going to suck. So Jeremy comes over to try and reason with him, even going so far as to examine some of the various weapons that Connor has laid out. And he actually seems genuinely curious about it. But he doesn't understand why Connor's acting so crazy. But then again, that's because Jeremy, after last episode, was compelled not to remember anything that was revealed while he was at Klaus's home about the tattoo. And when Connor says to him, you know you've been compelled, right? I mean, you and I had sat all day and had a conversation about this, and you're telling me now that you don't remember it? Jeremy's pretty pissed off. There's only one of two people that could have done this. It definitely wasn't Damon, because Damon was with Elena at this point over at the college. So it was either Stefan or Klaus. And Klaus wouldn't have bothered himself with it, so it was probably Stefan. You can tell at this point that Jeremy's getting really annoyed with constantly being used and abused as the vampire's little plaything. Connor doesn't understand how he can possibly sympathize with the vampires, and Jeremy tries to get him to understand that not all vampires are bad. That there are some vampires actually decent people that want to do the right thing. But he can't let the information out that his sister is one of them. Connor apparently has no compunction against killing good or bad vampires. He doesn't believe that there are good or bad. They're all just vampires. They all need to be extinguished. As evidenced by the story he tells of a friend, a female friend of his, who was turned and promised to control her bloodlust, but he wound up having to kill her anyway, because I guess she attacked him or she bit him or something, because she showed us a scar on his hand. And her death gave him the first piece of his tattoo on the front of his hand. Matt tries to keep April calm, since she has no idea what the hell all this mess is about. She just thinks he's a complete nut job with a knife. She asks Connor why he's doing this, and he tells her that you should know why, considering the history that we have together. Dun dun dun. That's revelation number one. Kind of had the idea that there was some history between Connor and the family, because I believe that Connor and Pastor Young knew each other, and I think that he also knew her, but probably when she was very, very young, so she may not remember it. I know she definitely doesn't remember getting gutted by him in episode 2. What that history is exactly, not sure, other than her father and Connor's friendship or acquaintanceship, but I'm sure we'll find out more along the way. April's completely dumbfounded at this revelation, but you can tell right when he says this that both Matt and Jeremy kind of file this information away for later use. Matt convinces Connor to let him take April back to the bathroom, and he warns the two not to try and escape because he has all the entrances and exits rigged. Before Stefan starts listening in on what's going on in the grill, he calls new best buddy Klaus to give his new bro the lowdown on this situation. At this point, currently, Klaus and company are in Italy, digging up the grave of Rebecca Swenson, future love, the dead member of the Brotherhood of the Five. As you remember in last episode, she said she buried him at the place that they were going to be married with his sword. He tells Stefan to do whatever is necessary to keep the hunter alive and preserve the tattoo. Stefan is leery of the idea that he may have to betray Elena just to save her, and also betray Damon and risk everyone's lives in the process. Because Klaus really doesn't care what the fuck happens to anybody else. He just wants the hunter alive. Stefan, he feels badly enough that he hasn't been able to tell anybody the truth. The idea that he may have to betray them or betray their trust and keep him alive when they want him dead, keep the hunter alive when they really want him dead, because he's so much of a threat. This is difficult for him to come to grips with. Klaus tells him that he doesn't want to risk original hybrid wrath by getting the hunter dead and pissing him off. Basically, he says, if he dies, you die. I will kill you. He challenges Stefan by asking how far Stefan is willing to go for Alena's cure. You really in this, like you said that you were? Are you willing to go as far as it takes? Because you said this cure was important to you. You really want this. And in the end, Stefan says he'll do whatever he has to do. While all this is going on back at Shea Lockwood, oh my God, yeah, here we go. Revelation number 2 coming up. Caroline and Haley, aka the other woman, finally meet. Caroline's over at Tyler's place, and Haley just happens to pop up, and she's like, "Who the hell are you?" And she goes, and she looks and goes, "Who the hell are you?" Translation: alpha male posturing ensues. Caroline attempts to get answers about Haley's relationship with Tyler, saying, but Haley answers with a typical teenage way, saying, "I don't do drama." Haley fleets away, and Caroline looks as though she wants to rip Caroline looks as though she wants to rip She-Wolf's face off. Haley and Tyler are trying to convince, I think the guy's name is Max. I can't remember. His name escapes me, but I think it's Max. This is Haley's brother / packmate. They're trying to convince him not to go into the grill. Apparently, Klaus has already called Max and told him to go into the grill and get rid of the hunter. And Tyler's telling him that it's too dangerous. You don't know what's going on in there. Stay out of it. But Max says he has no choice due to the sire bond. He has to do whatever Klaus asks of him. Tyler tries to tell him that it's possible to break the sire bond, that they can help him if he'll just let them. But Max doesn't seem to believe that Tyler is really free of Klaus's influence. He gives Tyler a cell phone and tells him to call Klaus as a test of resistance. Tyler didn't seem to care. Tyler makes a call, and Klaus doesn't wait and just starts right in on niggling. He proceeds to give him shit about his indiscretion with Haley right behind Caroline's back. And yes, Caroline is in the room, and yes, Caroline can hear the other end of the conversation. Klaus is taking an immense amount of glee watching Tyler squirm. In the end, he tells Max to do whatever he wants. By now, Caroline has heard the entire phone conversation and now believes she has been cheated on. The look on her face was classic. She tries to get answers out of Haley, who tells her to take it up with Tyler. Caroline now looks like she wants to rip bitch's heart out and stuff it with vervain and wolfsbane and shove it down Tyler's throat. Tyler reveals that she confronts Tyler, and he reveals that nothing at all happened between himself and Haley. That Haley was there when he needed someone to help him, and she saved his life. She was the one that helped him break the sire bond. He tells her that he has to allow Klaus to believe that he has something to hold over him. Basically, this whole cheating thing. It's a total ruse. He's letting Klaus believe that he has Tyler under his thumb so that Klaus won't find out about his master plan, which is what I like to call Hybrid 101. How to break free of your sire bond without killing yourself trying. Basically, he wants to take what he did for himself with Haley's help and do this for all the hybrids so that they'll be free. Of course, he's right. If Klaus was to find out, he'd probably kill him. So the hour is quickly up, and Stefan returns to Alaric's apartment where Damon and Elena said they would be waiting for him. Damon's going through the rest of Rick's weapons and taking cell phone pictures of old maps.